Give them a shot to do what?
What is going on, everybody? This is Mike Hughes without Jim Cross. It is Pro and Joe's today. You see how, actually, it's Pros and Joe. No Joe's. Look at me, already fucking it up. But Jim's not here. We got some technical difficulties, but hopefully we'll have him shortly. But we got some two dogs in the room. We got a couple monsters. We got some of the greatest mustaches in the entire game. And Paul Skeens, I'm looking at you. These guys, wait till they get in the league because we got some issues. I mean, you look at the hat, look at the drip, look at the way they're moving, the way they're walking. We got a member of the Atlanta Braves. We love to see it, love to see it. You know, we got to talk about the chop, but let's talk about the defending World Series champions, Texas Rangers. We're here with CADE KUEHLER and Luke Savage. Boys, how we doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Well, you know, trying to do intros here and there, you know, but, you know, Luke, how we feeling, man?
Real good. Happy to be here.
Man, I got a question, man. What happened to the stash? I see we're full grown now. Got Wolfman out for Halloween.
Yeah,
what was
full grown.
Take me through that. What was the idea behind it?
Honestly, it's been mostly a golf game thing. I had the stash going, and then I have caught the yips recently, and so I'm trying just to grow it out until I lose the yips.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
hoping it just changes something up.
Understandable. You know, yesterday, you know, we were talking about the golf game as a whole. You know, we had a couple great guests on the show. We had Seth and obviously we had Ben. You know, I want to kind of get into it with you guys really quick before we talk about playoffs, before we talk about baseball, golf, man. Hey, like how much is golf a positive outlet for you in the off season? Like how important is that just to have a stress reliever, which is also kind of stressful? Like you said, you know, you got the yips right now. You're not having a great time, you know, like I get drunk and I drive golf carts for my friends. Like, that's what I do. I don't golf whatsoever. But what about you guys? How important is golf?
Oh, you decided to join us. I don't know. I love golfing. When I get the opportunity to golf, I do. I miss it right now, and not being able to play sucks. But any chance I can go out and play 9, 18, whatever it is, I take it.
For sure.
No,
What
same. I would
got
say,
you into it, Luke?
So honestly, like I never really was into it in high school. I was like, man, this is pretty boring. I would say I had a pretty like immature idea of golf, but then a bunch of my buddies started playing, and then it was kind of like, I mean, everybody plays it as a pitcher, and I would go out and play and just be like, gosh, I'm the worst out of all of these guys by a lot. So I kind of got into it over the last year, and I mean, yeah, I probably play it too much. Like in the season, it was like every off day, and you know, me and my buddies after we train, we'll go play. But it's definitely like, I mean, it's an awesome way to get out there with the guys. You're not really thinking about anything. Except for when you're not hitting it well, which is now. But, you know, besides that, it's always a good time out there.
For sure. Now, Mr. Abercrombie himself has decided to join us. Jim, you look as beautiful as ever. Jim, how are you, sir? I know you're going through it right now. Explain to everybody why you're outside.
So I'm outside because they're having IT issues. So we've had to settle for slumming and going off the cell phone. I feel like Seth Halverson yesterday sitting in his car waiting to go golfing. And so here I am. But I will say this, Mike, blessed with a beautiful day. So I'm not exactly mad about it, bro.
No, I'm not mad either. You know what I mean? And, you know, it depends, you know. We'll see who walks behind you. Maybe we get a couple of celebs. But I got a follow-up question for you, Jim. Why is your hair wet?
My hair's wet.
Yeah, why were you running?
My hair's not wet at all. That's gel.
It looks a little wet, man. Looks like you've been sweating,
You're so
dog.
used to seeing me with a hat, you don't know what my hair looks like.
You just change your hair every other month. I think that's really the problem here. But, fellas, let's get into it before I continue talking about Jim and his mohawk that makes an appearance every other month.
Hold on. Stop.
No,
We're not done there because they play baseball and they understand it. It's a baseball haircut. The baseball players love it. I rock it. I've been doing it since 2021. It will begin.
They can do it. You don't play baseball, so you can't do it. That's the problem. You know, like, you know, it's cool. It's cool when they do it. If Ernie Johnson shows up to NBA tonight with a mohawk, I got issues. That's all I'm saying. But we're gonna get into it, man. I want to talk about it. Last night, potentially one of the greatest games we've seen thus far in the playoffs. Guardians versus Yankees. Now, everybody and their mama knows I'm rocking with the Italians. Stallion, we're rocking with Big Riz. Rizzo's going to get his second World Series championship, and that's how we're rolling with it. That's a narrative I'm pushing. But for you boys, if you did get a chance to watch the game, I mean, dude, can you kind of just take me through what kind of game that was, the environment in which it was? Great talking to you, Jim. But really just kind of breaking down the collapse of the Yankees and kind of that back and forth. Whoever wants to start can start, other than Jim. Oh, he's back.
He's back.
He's back.
It was funny. I was watching with my brother. We turned it on like the 6th or 7th. Clase comes in, and I was telling my brother, I'm like, oh, like best closer in baseball. I think he's like 44 or 47. And I'm like, yeah, this game's over. And then Judge 2-run bomb, Stanton, go ahead. I'm like, oh my God. And then we go in the bottom of the 8th, they don't score. So I'm like, screw it. We're going to turn on the Dodgers Mets game. And I open up Twitter and I see Hassan tweet, "Big Christmas." I'm like, no shot. I flip it back. They had hit the tie. And then I watched Fry hit the walk-off. It was unreal. Me and my brother just stared at each other like, what just happened?
Now, Luke, I kind of want to switch it up for you, man, because, obviously you've had a little experience in the pen. Man, Class A being used the way he has this year, I feel like I've seen this man close out a game damn near every other day. Like, how unconventional is that, and how crazy is it that not only is he still hanging around there, but his arm is still attached to him?
I mean, yeah, no, it blows me away. I feel like every time I watch, especially just like top of the line big league closers, to where they're throwing, I mean, who knows how many appearances they have at the end of the year, and playoff time comes around and somehow their velo's up. And it's like, oh my gosh, these guys are max effort basically every day, and their arm is better than ever. And so those guys, I mean, it blows me away every time.
For sure. Now, I'm going to ask Jim this one, if we can grab Jim for a second. If you don't mind, good sir, I know you got a beautiful family behind you that you're hanging out with. May or may not have just met them for the first time ever. And this beautiful couple as well. I don't know who. There's a lot of guests on the show today. But in all seriousness, Jim, Subway Series. Not looking too possible there. It's looking a little bleak for the Mets. I'm gonna start with you, man, because obviously we're a couple National League guys. Do you think the Mets take another game, or is it over today?
I think it's over today. We talked about the fun idea of a Subway Series, but the reality was we felt like the two best teams, the Giants, and in the sense of the words, the Yankees and the Dodgers were going to meet, and I still even feel like with the massive comeback last night, that's inevitable, right? So I think that they're going to close out tonight, and it's going to be what it always was.
For sure. How about you boys, man? What do you think? Is there a shooter shot that on a day where the Mets, in an elimination game, decided to go for a bullpen day, do you think there's an opportunity there?
I mean, I feel like crazier things have happened, but it's definitely not looking in their favor. And I know me and my buddies had all talked about, like, man, we're hoping it's New York, but it's looking like a bit of a long shot right now.
How about you,
That
Kate?
The bullpen guy had no faith in the bullpen day.
It's like a bullpen day for the 30th
no hate, boys, but
for sure.
that's never good when you're pulling out the only bullpen coming from a bullpen guy.
Elimination game in the NLCS. Let's go for a bullpen day. I'd fucking call Trevor Bauer. He's not doing anything. But
And you gotta fly back to LA too and play 2 in LA. That's just like Luke's right, crazier things have happened, but that'd be up there.
Cade, what do you think though? Do they fly back to LA or is it over?
I could see him flying back. The Mets have a flair for the dramatic this postseason and everything they've done, so I could see it going back to LA.
Okay,
Not for very many games.
I'll tell you, man. My guy Mike Powers, Jerm Edwards, huge Met fans. I mean, they I think for me, and obviously once you're in the NLCS, it's a whole different conversation. Because me, Cubs fan, outside looking in, I'd be like, I'm just happy to be there. But once you're there, I feel like it's not just I'm happy to be here. Like you want to win the whole thing, But considering this year was supposed to be a rebuilding year, and nobody knew what Edwin Diaz was going to look like. And Luke, I want to throw this one to you, and then we'll stop with the playoff baseball stuff because
no, I got one more when you're done.
Yeah, you can go. I'm done. Cubs fan, pissed off, whatever. But Edwin Diaz finally getting that opportunity to kind of show that he's one of the best closers in baseball. A lot of people forgot about him missing the year he missed. To be able to hear the trumpets playing at City, man, what is that for you to be able to see just a whole organization, really all of baseball, just fall in love with this guy again?
I mean, I think it's been awesome. I know probably Cade and I both would say like there's a few guys that when it comes to like us growing up and watching baseball, like he's probably one of them, especially as a reliever, to where it's like, I mean, the trumpets are just iconic. And obviously when you're throwing fuzz from that low of a slot, it's just like, man, this guy is crazy good. And then, like fluke injury happens, people kind of forget about him, doesn't have the start of the year that he wants to. And I think to see like the success that he's had, and not only him, but like just like the underdog Mets story has been super cool to watch.
For sure. Jim,
Yeah.
what do you got, buddy?
So with that, he says underdog Mets, and we started to root for them, and
Dang. Well,
Man.
that
people
was
got
the
to quit
story.
calling.
Oh,
me,
there
bro.
he is. There he is.
Anyway, with that, I got to ask these guys. The reason I started rooting against the Dodgers, I was actually completely with them. I love Ohtani. I think Mookie Betts is the most professional guy in baseball. But
For sure.
the D bump, I'm not going to say the word. Family show, even though Mike cusses every other sentence. Kiki Hernandez, I got to ask you guys, man, and y'all are high character individuals, but I know you get intense. Would you ever do that with a teammate? Got to know. And if so, we're cutting this episode if either says yes, Mike.
I'd bump for the one time. NLCS, World Series, I'd bump. I remember David Ross bumped. And when David Ross bumped in the World Series, I was like, yeah, I'm down with the bump. Like, I don't know. Maybe they feel different.
I mean,
look for the cameras.
Yeah, you got to find the cameras, but if that's what it takes to win, I'm probably there.
I need you to bump and stare directly into the camera as you do it.
Look, I didn't even get to hear their responses because it was messing
They
up.
said they bump. They confirmed they bump. Cade said he definitely bumps.
That's crazy.
Bro, man, like, I don't know. I didn't play baseball. The slapping on the butt was a regular thing, but Daniel did play college baseball. He coached college baseball. We talked about it on a regular In Off the Bench show. He said he's never seen anything like that. He would never partake in that, and he would tell his guys to stop it if they did. I'm just, man.
Yeah, but DBs in Florida, they do other things. I'd rather bump than do it half of them Florida cats be on. But it is what it is.
What a perfect segue to talk about the nice things in life. I got to ask these guys while I'm actually connected well. I got to start with you, Luke, man. I love Blessed Feet. I was able to explain to Mike about it yesterday, man. It's still crazy to me to think that this is something that you created, in high school, man, and seeing the things you're doing. Talk to us about what Blessed Feet's doing, where you are at, and just the amazing things y'all got going.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I appreciate that. And so right now we're really just trying to save up and kind of get one big event before Christmas time in the DFW area. And then next year will be our big trip to the Dominican. So for those who don't know, Blessed Feet was a nonprofit that I started back in high school after going to the Dominican Republic a few times and really just seeing kind of like, first of all, I mean, the amazing baseball that they have down there. I think we can all see it from the big league guys. But also just kind of like the lack of physical gear and stuff that we take for granted here in the States. And so saw that, and I knew, I mean, obviously as high school baseball players, it was like we're getting new pair of cleats every 3 months. It felt like just growing new shoe sizes and stuff. I wish it was because it was like, man, I could just get them. But it was
Mike
like,
said
these things are tearing up or whatever.
Chicago, they were not getting new cleats.
They didn't give me shit. They shot at us. Damn. New cleats is crazy. I was wearing gym shoes half the time.
Oh, man. No, yeah.
No, hey, Luke, I'll tell you, look, reality, bro.
That's fucked up.
Exactly what you're talking about. We actually had Convoy of Hope come to the church and come talk to us. And the guy was actually talking to us about the hurricane damage and everything. But he wanted to tell us a story about recently being in Kenya. And I'm sorry for the loud bud. It was something like Joe's Shoes or something they were working with. And they went to Kenya and they gave like 3,000 kids shoes. And one of them, went up to the front and talked about how he was 12 years old. And it was the first time he was ever going to have shoes on his feet. And it's like, when you see stuff like that, man, it changes your whole perspective. You know, Mike's obviously joking around, but at the end of the day, my dude had shoes on his feet growing up, even if it wasn't the most expensive cleats. So seeing what you're doing to those who don't, man, it's big time.
Yeah, but
Thank you very much.
I wasn't joking though. They really did shoot at us a couple of times. That shit was crazy. But Luke, man, I'm mad proud of you, bro. And I think to be the age you were, and to even have that as a thought, and not only that, but to follow through with it, because you know how many teenagers tell you they're gonna do something, and then you know they're doing something brand new the next day. You know,
For sure.
it's definitely a test to your character and who you are. Um, and we appreciate you, man. So we're definitely gonna link that in the bio below on iHeart, and I'll give us a shot. Try to get that out there as much as possible, and also check it out on and off the bench. We'll link it on there as well. So make sure
Absolutely.
give it a shot. Check it out. You can donate. You always got to talk about it. Blessed feet. Make sure you give it some love, Jim. While we still have you, next question, sir.
Yeah. No, because I got to shoot it over to Cade, man. I don't want what he has done to go unnoticed. What you don't, Mike, is I originally reached out to Cade to be the guest from Campbell, not just because he was an absolute baller, but because I saw him vulnerable, talking about mental health being an adversary. We just came off Mental Health Awareness Month and everything. You know, curious, Cade, man, are you able to still do anything? Or are you trying to help out? Just you sharing your story and being open alone, I know it helps, but just curious if you happen to have anything going on with that.
Not at the moment. Just kind of being there for those who need it in person. I still have friends like reach out and text me and stuff. So kind of just being available for those who need it. Recently found, actually I'm wearing their hat, the Happiness Project, and they donate 15% of proceeds to mental health awareness. So really happy to find that brand. And I mean, gonna wear it on my head all the time. Got a couple hoodies and a t-shirt and stuff, but still looking for avenues to kind of make an impact.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, the reality, you know, mental health is such a big thing within itself. But in sports, man, just what you guys go through, I don't think people understand. I think they think because you have an elite talent, you're not bothered by stuff of the outside world. And I'm not even just talking about what's happening on the field, and having to carry that baggage into playing professional sports is such a big deal, man. So just keep doing what you're doing. When opportunities arise, man, be an advocate, use your platform. Just like Luke was doing, bless you, man. Proud of both you guys. But I do have a couple questions I got to ask you, and then we'll get into y'all's, you know, minor league career. I had the Campbell guys want me to ask first. You know, Luke actually used the word fuzz a minute ago, man. Have you been to Campbell? Have you been able to see the Fuzz Factory? And if so, what do you think?
I went in the off season last year from probably the whole month of January training, and it was in construction, so I didn't see it get fully built and everything, but from what I saw, it was awesome. The videos that some of the guys sent me, it looks pretty incredible.
And then the other one is, man, how well, you know, Justin Hare, guest event off the bench, absolute amazing dude, going down to Jacksonville for the opening classic where he'll be coaching Ohio State. But, you know, ultimately he went there, family decision, God decision. I never question anybody who lets God lead their way. Obviously, a lot of Campbell fans, you know, not particularly happy, but we're not making this about him. I want to ask you just about Campbell going forward, man. You know, it's been a powerhouse, non-power 5 team. Do you think it can sustain success without Coach Justin Hare?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Marks originally recruited me, so I've met him, and I know he brings strong leadership and a lot of fire to the program. It's a resilient bunch. I mean, I still play with some of the guys that are there. I know their character and what they care about. So I don't see them slowing down anytime soon. I see them finding ways to persevere and pursue what they want, which is going to Omaha, and excited to keep following them, see what they do.
Well, Mike, this is the last thing I'll turn it over to you, man. If you, I mean, you're a guy who goes to games in Chicago, big time MLB guy. If you ever just want to have a change of pace, and Luke, y'all got big things going on in Fort Worth. I've been there, but I'm talking about a small, you know, just it's a different, intimate venue with a fan base that is extremely passionate. They will give you hospitality plus. Head over to Bowie's Creek, Mike, man. I met like 1,000 people out of the 1,500, and it, man, felt like instant family. You know, Cade's mom being the best of all of them. You want to go get a creek dog, man, just get an experience, a different thing. I'm telling you, be worth your time. If you ever just want an adventure, go to a beautiful part of North Carolina, get it done, Mike.
I'll be a little nervous though. I don't know. I get like social anxiety real easy. Like, I could be in the middle of some like wild stuff in the city and be really calm. But when there's not a lot of people and it's real quiet, I don't really know what to do with myself. I get a little weird. Like, I don't know. I don't like talking. I feel nervous. Like something like you ever have something really good going in your life and then like, I call it my spidey senses, but my therapist calls it anxiety. He's like, "Yeah, no, you're not supposed to feel like something bad's gonna happen." And I'm like, "Nah, I think my spidey senses are telling me I gotta get out of here." But I check it out, maybe here and there.
Your
Kate says it's
senses would
alright, it's
tell you
alright.
to stay away from
What?
your spidey senses would tell you to stay away from the creek dog. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Unfortunately, I can hear you.
Okay, your spidey senses would tell you to stay away from the creek dog, fried onions, ranch, all this stuff. I'm just gonna tell you that was the best. That's the most delightful thing I had all college baseball season.
I'm into it. Man, look, talking about college baseball, let's get into some minor league ball. I got a couple questions. Obviously, they're going to be, very different from each other, but I think both are still very important to your stories and both of your journeys. Luke, first, I got to ask, down Eastwood Ducks, is there up West Ducks? I'm just asking you an important question. I'm just at no. But look, man, looking at your season as a whole, 3.80 ERA, 30 games played, 47.1 innings pitched, 43 Ks on the day. Shout out Savage, he's doing his thing, and a 1.27 WHIP. Can you define your season this year, like in terms of what you wanted to accomplish from the beginning, how you think it really went, and what you want to do this off season to kind of build upon what you were able to do this year?
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't say I have like a word for it. I would say really just like experience would probably be the biggest thing. I think like you hear a lot of stories about what to expect in pro ball, and you don't really get the whole picture until you actually play a full year. And so kind of just like being able to experience a lot of the ups and downs that come with it and just how long of a grind it actually is was big. I think I had like personal goals that I probably didn't reach all the way, but just being able to go out there every day, be healthy all year. Those were big things that I think went well, and looking to hopefully have a better year next year.
For sure, for sure. And when you look at next year, what is something this off season that you really want to add to your repertoire? Whether that's another pitch, some off speed stuff, or maybe just something in the way you go about your everyday nutrition, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I think like the cheesy answer would just be throw harder. That's always good. But I would say that and just like more consistent slider. Like I think a lot of pitchers deal with it, but like moving to only sidearm, it's like some days it's really good, and some days it's like this pitch is going the wrong direction. So, we just got to find a happy medium and hopefully get it in the right spot.
For sure, for sure. More bumps as well. I'm rocking with bumps. 2025. Let's get into the bump world. Jim is Jim's the number one advocator. He's the one that brought it up today. I didn't say a damn thing. But Cade, man, I want to get into your story, and adversity has been such a huge part of your life, and really breaking down kind of what we talked about earlier about the mental health side of things. How were you able to process your injury, what happened this year, and how you can spin it on its head and really turn it into something that's, just a lot more positive than, hey, I'm going to be out for the next year?
Yeah, it didn't bother me for a while, and I was pretty stubborn about it. I got an MRI earlier in the year, and I was like, no, I'm fine. Like, was making excuses and other things, trying to shift blame from why I wasn't performing up to my standards. Just continued to push through until finally I got to a point where my stuff was just getting worse, and competing through something that obviously was wrong wasn't worth it. So I guess being able to perform at a high level and still do fairly well. I had a couple of good months in there in Augusta, and understanding like, hey, if with a really, really bad elbow, I can throw really well, imagine what I can do with a really, really good elbow. So it's kind of lightning for me, and understanding like, hey, I can rebuild in this process and get to a really, really good version of myself when I come back.
For sure, for sure. And when you talk about that timeline, we kind of talked about it a little bit off camera. If you want to talk about it on here, if you don't, you guys don't get to know. Fuck you. No, man. In all seriousness, like when you look at that timeline, what are you looking to? Like, I know there's like a specific date, but how soon would you want to come back?
Whenever my body's ready. I like to compete. I like to be out there. I guess it's nice that I got hurt towards the end, so there wasn't a ton of baseball to miss up to this point. and I'll start throwing in January. So I'll kind of have all that time throwing and feeling like I'm getting better while the season's ramping up, which will be nice for me and my mental. But I mean, whenever I'm ready to go, recovery, they say, is about 14 months. So that would put me around this time next year. So whether that's, if I'm lucky enough to be in the fall league, I mean, I don't really know. I'll do whatever they ask me to do and just try to compete to the best of my ability.
For sure, for sure. And, you know, obviously, I wanted to throw this one to Luke, too, but this one's kind of different for you. Obviously, picking the brain of people. It's one of my favorite questions, really, to have on the show because, you know, there's so many different people that you never heard the names of in single A, double A, triple A, all the way to the majors. You know, some guys be like Tommy Hotovy, and I'm like, you know, some people be like, who's Tommy Hotovy? And I'll be like, the swaggiest coach I've ever seen on the Cubs staff. But for you, man, now being removed from the game, taken off the mound, who has been someone you've leaned on to kind of keep your knowledge going, to kind of just be a mentor to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been a lot of guys, like some just high school teachers, you know, I'll still text, and it's like that's just kind of get my mind off baseball, but also keep me in a good spot off of the field. But I mean, our pitching coach this year was super awesome, and he was one of those guys to where it's like, you know, I love him on the field, and he's super knowledgeable, and any question I have baseball wise, like he is ready to answer. But then at the same time, I could be like, hey, let's go play 18 tomorrow, and he's there, and he's ready to compete on the course too. And so I think he was just one of those guys to where it's like he's going to make sure that you're set up to succeed on the field, but then like he can also tell it's like, oh, something's bothering him off the field. What can I do to kind of push him to be a better man? So I think that was super awesome to see this year.
For sure, for sure. And Cade, obviously, you know, doing a rehab stint, you know, we could say, you know, maybe it's a pitching coach, it's this, it's that. Is there anybody that you've spent a lot more time with recently that's really been helping you both mentally and just kind of keeping your knowledge and flowing with the game?
Since I got down to rehab, we have kind of the rehab crew. That's super nice to be around. And some big leaguers cycling through, like Matic was down there for a bit, and he was awesome to talk to. Ray Kerr, he's down here. He's been awesome to talk to. Darius Vines. So all those guys, the whole rehab crew, Owen Murphy, one of our top prospects, stud human being, just kind of a tight-knit group because you see each other every day and you're getting your work in and kind of understand what each other is going through. So it's kind of nice to be around those guys.
For sure, for sure. Jim, are you with us, sir?
I am absolutely.
I'm just asking.
I'm just keeping myself muted because there's a lot of traffic here. I'm not trying to disturb your conversation. I mean, you like to talk a lot anyway. I figured this is the best episode you've ever had.
What?
Hear me? Can you not hear me for real?
No, I can hear you. Unfortunately, I can hear you. I can hear you. Oh, man. Oh, he froze, though.
Look.
Jim, blink. Oh, my God. Yo, this is awesome. This is my favorite episode ever. I swear to God, it's my favorite. But, man, look. Well, while we wait for Jim to stop admiring whatever he's admiring right now, I do want to kind of ask you guys, man. This is real quick, and obviously, single A, you're only seeing certain guys come in and out. You haven't made your way through the entire pipeline yet. Who's the stud? Who's the freak? Who's the guy that you guys have played with so far that you're like, yo, this guy is gonna be one of them? That's for either of you, by the way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of them. It's just pitching to where they're just freaks to where it's like they make one throw and then they're like 96. You know what I mean? Like it's like especially in the pen to where it's like, hey, get hot, and they'll just like throw some red hot on, and then it's just like, all right, I'm good. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Like you haven't even touched a baseball yet. So I think that's some of it. But then we also had a few, like one of the pitching guys that trains with me, he's one of our top prospects now. And he's just like a 6'4" lefty that lands 4 or 5 pitches and throws like mid-90s. And I'm just like, all right, you know, that's pretty gross. I don't know how hitters see that, and it's like, all right, let's go get this guy.
For sure, for sure. Cade, how about you, man? Who's out there? Who's out there that you could talk about right now?
He was a step above me the whole way. Is Lucas Braun. He ended up 6th in the minor leagues in strikeouts, 160 punchies on the year. I mean, out of Cal State Northridge, dude's just unreal. Learning, sure. I mean, super knowledgeable, super coachable. It's really fun to watch him pitch and to talk to him about what he's learning, like what clicked that out and yada, yada, yada.
For sure, for sure. Jim, sir, we got mascot questions if you want to hit them.
It's too sociable.
Hey,
Too social.
I'm with you. I had to find a quiet place.
Bro, I thought you were at home, bro. Where even are you?
Dude, I'm still old Dominic. Hey, shout out Javera January, the best SEC umpire in the nation, just walked by. But all right. Anyway, so can you hear me, Mike?
Yes, sir.
I'm online. I'm literally online. Go on somewhere, man. Call balls and strikes. Call balls and strikes. All right. So mascots. Got to talk about it first. Right off the top, boys. We'll start with Cade and then go to Luke. All right. I got to know what's better, a Montgomery biscuit or an Akron rubber duck?
Biscuit.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not familiar with either, but I'll go with biscuit.
Biscuits are raised double A, right?
Yeah.
Luke's just like me, for real.
Hashtag butter up. All right. Mud hens or yard goats?
Oh, the Hartford Yard Goats. That place is electric.
Yeah, it's got to be yard goats.
All right. Trash pandas or rumble ponies?
Trash pandas. Gotta shout out my guy Neto there.
My boy Cole is with the panda, so I gotta go trash panda.
Yeah, their alternate is even fire. If I was in the studio, I have the Lunatics hat, and so it even looks good. And so then I wanted to ask y'all individually, of the mascots in the minor league, which one do you look forward to, whether A ball, double A, triple A ball, you look forward to wearing the most? Not because of where they're at, like double A or triple A, but like just look the best mascot.
I know the Emperor stuff, I was there for a week, which was really cool, which is our high. And then we're moving Mississippi to Columbus, and I forget the name, but it's a variation of a peach because it's in Columbus, Georgia. So it's some sort of peach, and it's green and orange, and it's going to be awesome.
For sure.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah, ours is similar. Our high is being moved to Spartanburg, and I think we're the Spartanburg Burgers.
Oh my
That's
god.
awesome.
So that one's gonna be pretty sick. I don't know the colors or anything, but I feel like you can't really mess up a burger jersey and hat.
Nah, for sure. You know what I was doing? 4th of July, honestly. Let me get into this before Jim comes back. 4th of July, it's me, my girl. We're going to see Liam Spence. And we go see Liam Spence play in person against the Chicago Dogs. They promised a fireworks show. Bullshit. It was there, but I've seen more better fireworks shows in the hood where guys are just throwing M80s at the ceiling. But I think the coolest thing was it was ketchup and mustard. And what I didn't know about like this kind of league, it's not minor league ball, but it's like its own affiliate. It was ketchup and mustard, and they race like through a whole ballpark at the same time. They're jumping on top of the dugouts. They're having a great time. I'm like, damn, like. I'm looking at Spence at third base. I'm like, Spence, what is this? He's like, every day, bro. I'm like, well, he didn't say bro, he said mate, but he was like, every day, mate. I was like, dang, I didn't even know it was like that for real. But that was probably my favorite, ketchup and mustard. They're like a duo. I was like, dang, y'all got
That's pretty sweet.
And Pickle came out of nowhere. It was some guy in a green onesie. I was like, I'm not rocking with Pickle. That shit was weird. Some grown man running by a bunch of kids calling himself Pickle. Not my thing, but
not about that.
Yeah, ketchup and mustard was cool
And wild and fun, but we talked about it yesterday with Ben and Seth. Man, I don't know what they're doing at Rocket City, the Trash Pandas. Everybody needs to take note. Like I told you, 8,800 people. All the gimmicks they had, like that's the way to go.
100%. But
it's the Columbus Clingstones, by the way. I went and looked it up.
Jim, let me ask you something, man. Important question, sir. So we were gonna do a little segment with you and your cards, but I know you got a little situation going on. So what are we looking at for the card segment, or are we just calling it a day?
No card rip. We're just gonna admit what we messed up, or not we. Sorry, I apologize.
Who? Yeah.
So, boys, I wanted to start doing authentic card rip videos, not like these folks that be faking stuff. Acting like they pulled something and it was a surprise and they videoed it. So we opened the 2 packs. Now, here's the crazy part. Throughout the episode, Ben and Seth have referenced Drew Gilbert 3 or 4 times and how that would be of their teammates, the guy they would want to strike out first. So Mike told me to make sure I didn't take too long going through the cards.
Well, cause
so,
damn.
So I just kind of skimmed, and I said, you know what? We didn't get anybody that we know. And then I sent him a picture 5 minutes after the episode when I actually went through them, and there was the Drew Gilbert hologram of all people. So I botched it yesterday, and then because of the service today, I don't even have cards. Mike, I'm a failure to the show. Cut me afterward. Just let me stay on long enough to finish.
Man, I'll just say, you know what, man? I didn't think you were going to be here today, man. And I know the second you get them Wi-Fi codes, man, you're going to be in that room like,
Hallelujah! Holy shit!
Cause I don't know, man. You got some business to take care of or some. But look, man.
Well, let me at least plug the sponsor that I'm at. What was supposed to happen? I was supposed to have the distillery behind me, you know, flexing it, look good. The people working. Old Dominic Distillery, one of our sponsors, obviously. Bourbon, vodka, gin, the works. You can get it all, and you go to 205 South Main Street in Memphis, or you can order it online. Obviously, Chinook Cedary, 8 flavors, mild to wild. Mike, our boy right there, Luke Savage, was an ambassador for them. I think he was actually one of the first, so he can definitely tell you they are where it's at.
Without a doubt.
No
And you
doubt.
know, you go to Old Dominic, man, you head over there right now. They don't got Wi-Fi, so your wife won't bother you. You won't get any text, and you can just eat Chinook seeds and drink all day long. So you can just do your thing. I know Sarah Cross ain't gonna hear from Jim the rest of the day. He gonna be like, sorry, my phone don't work no more. But look, man, Cade, Luke, we appreciate you always coming on, man. We appreciate you guys being here. Can't wait to continue to follow what you guys are doing. Can't wait to see Cade throwing 105 miles an hour after that elbow. Come on, baby. That's the best part. You got to know that's the best part. You're going to go start throwing like a fucking Cybertron. It's going to be crazy. Luke, keep being a savage, brother. I'm proud of every single one of y'all boys. I am Mike Hughes. This is somewhat Jim Cross. Luke, Cade, appreciate you being here. This is In Off the Bench, sponsored by Pros and Joes. We're kind of together. We're a whole little thing. It's a nice little collaboration. You are also listening to Give Us a Shot Network, so make sure you give us a like, give us a follow if you haven't already. We'll check y'all out later. Peace. Turn your Wi-Fi on.
Give them a shot to do what?